Hey there, welcome to my kitchen and welcome to my refrigerator. This is the freezer part. And as you can see here, there are some cards that my friends have given me to show me that they love and care about me. And some of the kids from school sometimes will draw pictures to let me know that they like me and everything, which is really cool. So if I'm ever having like let me sit you down here. Have a seat there. There you go. Thanks. If I'm ever having a discouraging day, maybe I don't feel loved or whatever, I can look at those cards, I can look at those pictures, and I can remember that no matter how I feel, I am a loved person. Very much so. As a matter of fact, I have a card here from my sister. She gave me Valentine's Day to let me know that her and her family love me. And so I have these things whenever things are going wrong or whatever to remind me that I am loved. So, in Matthew 26, right, just days before Jesus is crucified, a woman by the name of Mary shares a gift with Jesus to let him know that he is loved as well. And I would like to read that story with you in Matthew 26, starting with verse 6. And I always like to pray first. So let's pray before we read God's word. Dear Heavenly Father, as we take a look at your word, we pray that your Holy Spirit will open our hearts as well as our minds to the love that you want us to see today. In your name we pray, Lord. Amen. All right, thank you. So, here in Matthew 26, starting with verse 6, it says, "Meanwhile, Jesus was in Bethany at the home of Simon, a man who had previously had leprosy. While he was eating, a woman came in with a beautiful alabaster box of expensive perfume and poured it over his head." Now, we know from the other Gospels that this cost like a year's wages. This was very expensive perfume. And if it was very expensive, it was also very powerful, very potent. She pours it over his head, baptizes him in it, immerses him in it. In verse 8, the disciples were indignant when they saw this. "What waste," they said. "It could have been sold for a high price and the money given to the poor." You know, a lot of times when people are moved by their love for Jesus and they give all that they have, like this woman was doing, other people who don't want to give as much find fault with the ones who are giving. You know, in order for me to feel justified in the little bit that I give, I can point my finger at somebody giving more and I can say they're giving too much. They're doing too much. That way it makes my little petty offering seem more acceptable. I'm giving just right. Other people give too much. I'm doing just enough. Other people, they do too much. You see? When in reality, this woman is just responding to the love of God. And she saw by faith Jesus giving all of himself for her. And naturally, she gave all of herself. Everything she had. That perfume was everything she could afford. And she gave it all to Jesus because Jesus was giving everything for her. And when other people don't get that, it doesn't make sense to them. And so they think something legalistic is going on when actually it's just a heartfelt response to the gospel. In verse 10, Jesus, aware of this, aware of the disciples' attitude, thinking that this woman was wasting this gift on Jesus, replied, "Why criticize this woman for doing such a good thing to me? You will always have the poor among you, but you will not always have me." Verse 12, She has poured this perfume on me to prepare my body for burial. I tell you the truth, wherever the good news is preached throughout the world, this woman's deed will be remembered and discussed. So Jesus says that she's doing this, preparing his body for burial. So she, wittingly or not, she was responding to that love and was, again, giving everything to Jesus because Jesus gave everything for him. And he said that she was preparing him for his burial. Again, this perfume cost a year's wages. It tells us in the Gospels. And it was very powerful. It had to be, because back in those days, people didn't necessarily take baths or showers every day. They might go a few days without that, so they would use the perfume to cover up the fact that they haven't had a shower in a while, or a bath. It was to make them smell good without having to have a bath. Well, this was very powerful perfume, as I've already said. Very expensive. Just a little bit would last several days. Jesus was just immersed in this. The whole bottle was emptied on him. That is going to last for a while. And it's a good thing it did. Because a few days later, Jesus is going to the cross. And he's hanging on that cross. And everybody's making fun of him, mocking him, ridiculing him. If you're the Son of God, save yourself. Come down. You saved others, you can't even save yourself. While Jesus is hanging on that cross, he could be tempted to believe that nobody cared and that it was all for nothing. Now, when you die by crucifixion, you actually die by suffocation. You're hung to where you can't breathe. And the only way to breathe is to push your feet into those cruel nails so you can lift yourself up enough to get a breath. Whenever Jesus would do that on the cross, to push himself up, to get a breath, he breathed in that perfume. And when he breathed in that perfume, he remembered, while everybody was mocking him and making fun of him, he remembered, it's not all about nothing. Somebody cares. Somebody loves me. And of course it tells us in Isaiah 53 that he will see a multitude of people that are saved, and he will be satisfied with his sacrifice when he sees all those that are saved. But on that dark moment on the cross, when he couldn't see everybody, he just saw what was before him, and it didn't look promising. But when he breathed in that perfume, he remembered the woman who did respond to his love. He remembered the woman who did give everything she had for him because he gave all he had for her. I'm sure that perfume was a comfort to Jesus on that day when he could have been very discouraged. He was very discouraged. He cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" He was discouraged. It was a very dark day, a very dark moment. But in that darkness, he smelled the perfume. He remembered that somebody does care. Just like if I'm having a bad day, I can look at my cards, I can look at the pictures that the kids from school drew for me, and I can remember that yes, somebody does care about me. A lot of people do. I'm very blessed because a lot of people have God's love in their hearts towards me. Jesus was comforted by that, by the love that that woman had. And he was able to smell that perfume. It was a comfort to him. Friends, today, when so many people are treating God with as much hatred as they were that day Jesus was hanging on the cross, and so many people are blaspheming his name and forgetting all about him and acting like they don't care, worshiping the gods of this world instead of worshiping him. Well, all that is going on. Be the perfume. Let your life be the perfume to remind Jesus your death was not in vain. We care. We love you. Friends, be the perfume. God bless you.